There are some films like The Rite, movies that get under your skin without ever showing you what you're afraid of. A film that feels so real, you're never entirely sure if you're watching a performance or an exorcism. Today, I want to talk about why this is, in my opinion, Ingmar Bergman's most overlooked film, and why it feels more unsettling than most modern movies. The Rite is deceptively simple. 3 actors, Sebastian, Thea, and Hans, are summoned by an unnamed investigator to explain their latest performance. We never really learn why. Maybe it's for obscenity, maybe it's something more sinister. Bergman gives you just enough information to feel like you understand, but you don't. Everything here feels vaguely French New Wave, long quiet takes, naturalistic dialogue, a sense that the camera has simply stumbled into something private. But beneath that realism, there's an eerie undertone that makes you question whether any of this is real, or whether the characters are just improvising their own destruction. If The Rite has villains, it's the 3 actors themselves. None of them are good people. All of them are trapped in a toxic orbit. Sebastian is a narcissist in the worst way, all surface charm and quiet cruelty. Thea is an accuser and a liar, someone who can't face herself but has no problem pointing fingers at everyone else. And Hans, Thea's husband. He's meek and spineless, but somehow the one the others chose to lead. Maybe because he's just too weak to resist, or maybe because they enjoy having someone to blame. This dynamic is the film's real horror, a closed loop of resentment, ego, and unspoken violence. They can't escape each other, and they don't really want to. These people are performers, but they're also parasites, feeding on each other's insecurities. And then there's the moment that still makes my stomach knot every time I think about it. The scene near the end when Thea is alone with the investigator. What starts as an interrogation slides into something darker. Much darker. But Bergman refuses to give us certainty. The camera doesn't sensationalize it. There's no music telling you how to feel. It just happens. Quiet, raw, ambiguous. When it's over, you're left questioning whether you've seen a real act of violence, or a performance so convincing it becomes indistinguishable from reality. The ambiguity is what makes it linger. It doesn't matter if it really happened. It matters that it feels true, and that everyone else in the story is complicit in pretending it didn't. This is one of the most disturbing scenes I have ever witnessed, because it reminds you that the most horrifying acts are often hidden in plain sight behind a polite facade. By the time The Rite reaches its climax, you feel like the ground has shifted under your feet. The final scene is just a performance, on paper at least. But it feels like a ritual, like something summoned, not rehearsed. It's unsettling because it breaks the last barrier between acting and reality. The characters, and maybe the actors themselves, are no longer pretending. They're confessing, or sacrificing, or maybe both. Modern horror films like Midsommar try to create that sense of ritual dread, and they're great, but to me, no film does it more honestly than The Rite. Without spectacle, without production design to distract you, just a small room, a few props, and 3 people dissolving into their own performance. It's theater as annihilation. Ingmar Bergman was a director obsessed with identity, guilt, and the way art can turn into a curse. The Rite is all of that, distilled down to its rawest form. 3 actors, 1 room, no explanation, and the feeling that somewhere in all that, you've seen something you weren't supposed to see. If you've never watched it, I recommend it, but only if you're ready to feel unsettled in a way that no jump scare could ever achieve.